Hello and welcome to the 1.97 development server. Today I am going to be taking a look at the Augusta-Westland Apache AH Mk.1. This helicopter will be taking the Tier 7 spot for the British helicopter line and will be placed right after the Lynx AH Mk.1, which is of course at Tier 6. Now this variant of the Apache is of course a derivative of the AH-64D longbow and does share its main weapon types with that variant, firstly up to 16 AGM-114K Hellfires. Now this variant is new to War Thunder, with the most obvious difference from previous Hellfire variants being a 100mm penetration increase. Aside from that, the in-game performance remains mostly the same as the previously used AGM-114B, which remains on most other helicopters in the game. The missile has 8 km of range and a maximum velocity of 475 meters per second. Another weapon that is shared among all Apaches is the fixed turret, a 30mm M230E1 cannon. Now this cannon holds up to 1,200 rounds of ammunition with a fire rate of 620 rounds per minute, so your ammo will last for a fair time if the gun does not jam up. The gun can be locked onto target by use of the helicopter's sight systems, allowing essentially for automatic aiming and ranging by the gun. Now this is very good against stationary targets, but it can struggle against moving targets such as other helicopters, so for them it is best to manually aim the gun. This cannon only has access to a single type of ammunition, high explosive fragmentation incendiary tracer round, which has 51mm of pen, but almost 27 grams of TNT equivalent per bullet, and it is fair to say that if that hits a lightly armoured vehicle or another helicopter, it is highly likely that that will do a lot of damage. Something more unique to the AH Mk.1 variant of the Apache is the usage of the Starstreak anti-aircraft missile, and personally these are one of the things that so far is sort of making me turn away from this version of the Apache. These missiles appear to be player guided. Other than that, you can lock them onto the target using the sight system, but the problem with these missiles is they have no form of proximity fuse. You need to get a direct hit. And hitting a high-speed aerial target with this missile that travels at just over 4 times the speed of sound is not exactly an easy task. I really do feel that the lack of any fire-and-forget air-to-air missiles such as the Stinger on the American AH-64D is really going to let the AH Mk.1 down and leave it very vulnerable to attack from enemy jet aircraft. One other weapon available to the AH Mk.1 are CRV-7 rockets. These have 290mm of pen and are carried in groups of 19 in their rocket pods, and essentially have very similar performance to that of the standard Mighty Mouse rockets from American Helis, and essentially perform exactly the same in-game. Not much armor is actually featured on the Apache AH Mk.1. There's a few pieces of 20mm thick composite armor around the lower parts of the cockpit and the pilot's seats, and there is a 22mm piece of bulletproof glass placed in between the two crew members. Aside from that, there is essentially no armor on this helicopter. For additional features, the AH Mk.1 firstly features missile approach warning and radar warning receiver system. These will allow you to of course know when any incoming projectiles are on the way, and also when a radar system is active or when a radar system is locking onto your helicopter. The missile approach warning of course means that you will have automatic deployment of flares, of which this Apache has plenty, either 106 flares or 226 of them, depending on if the pylon ends are used for extra flare pods or for the Starstreak missiles. The Apache is also equipped with a thermal sight and third-person night vision, as well as pilot night vision, which will certainly help during night matches. The longbow radar on this vehicle is capable of either air-to-ground mode or air-to-air mode at either 4 km of range or 8 km of range, with 4 focus modes available in the air-to-ground mode. Currently this works the same as the radar on the K-52, and it doesn't appear to be able to especially lock targets, but acts more like a search radar. And that's pretty much it for this heli on this dev server version. I would have liked to have got some gameplay footage, but unfortunately the only map available in Ground RB was the new Sweden map, and it's not necessarily the best map for using a heli and sort of gaining an idea of how effective the helicopter is, as the entire map is an urban area, meaning essentially it's very difficult to spot and kill targets, especially with the Hellfires that require a laser lock for majority of their flight time. A more in-depth gameplay review of this helicopter will have to wait until the live server release, where I will look at it, but due to the lack of any highly effective air-to-air missiles, I am sort of worried about how this will perform, especially when faced with close air support aircraft on the enemy team. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. I will also be releasing a video covering both of the United States Apaches from this dev server, the AH-64A and the AH-64D. That will be out at some point over the next few days. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy, please consider dropping a like, and if you would like to see more dev server videos, and of course my live server reviews of these vehicles after the patch has dropped, do feel free to subscribe to the channel. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next one.